Every single human civilization that has ever existed invented gods. Every one. No exceptions. Not because they were stupid. Because the human brain is wired to do exactly this. By the end of this video you'll understand why belief in gods isn't a failure of thinking. It's a feature of it. And why you would have believed too. The brain that sees faces. Ancient humans who heard a rustle in the bushes and assumed a predator survived. Ancient humans who heard a rustle and assumed it was wind got eaten. After millions of years of that selection pressure, the human brain evolved a powerful default setting. Assume agency behind unexplained events. Assume something is causing this. Assume intention. This is called hyperactive agency detection. The brain runs it constantly. It's why you see faces in clouds, in wood grain, in burnt toast. It's why a dark room feels watched. You're not being irrational. You're running survival software that kept your ancestors alive for 2 million years. The same software that kept them alive also made gods inevitable. But that's not even the craziest part. Ancient humans didn't just detect agents behind events. They detected the most powerful kind of agent possible. Because a lion explained a lion attack. But lightning? Drought? Plague? Earthquake? Things with no visible cause required an invisible cause. An agent so powerful it could throw fire from the sky, stop rain for 3 years, make entire herds disappear. The bigger and more inexplicable the event, the more powerful the agent the brain invented to explain it. Pattern recognition. The same brain that detects agency also detects patterns. And it detects them even when they're not there. This is called apophenia. Ancient humans watched the sky obsessively because weather meant survival. They noticed that the rains came after certain positions of stars. That animals behaved differently before earthquakes. That certain ceremonies seemed to be followed by good hunts. That one elder's ritual was performed before a successful one and skipped before a failed one. They were right that patterns existed. They were wrong about which patterns caused which outcomes. But they couldn't afford to ignore patterns. Missing a real pattern could kill you. The cost of finding a fake one was much lower. So the brain is tuned to overdetect by a significant margin. It finds 10 false patterns for every real one and accepts that trade-off because missing the real one is fatal. Gods were the explanation for the patterns that had no visible cause. And once the explanation existed, every new unexplained event got attached to it. But here's where it gets strange. Ancient humans didn't just believe in gods because they were scared or confused. They believed because gods solved a coordination problem that nothing else could solve. A group of 30 people can be coordinated by direct relationships. Everyone knows everyone. You cooperate because you know this person. You owe them, you fear them. Scale to 500 people and that breaks down completely. You can't know 500 people personally. You need something else. You need a shared story about what will happen if you defect. A God who sees everything. Who punishes cheaters even when no human is watching. A moralizing God who tracks behavior is essentially an always-on enforcement mechanism that scales infinitely. Groups with this belief outcompete groups without it. Not because it was true. Because it worked. Death and the brain. Ancient humans understood death the way you understand that a fire is hot. They saw it constantly. But the brain that produced this understanding also ran a powerful model of other minds. Theory of mind. The same system that let you predict what other people would do. That system doesn't automatically turn off when someone dies. When someone close to you dies, the brain keeps running its model of them. Keeps expecting their input. Keeps simulating what they would say. Ancient humans experienced this as the presence of the dead. Not metaphorically. Literally. The person felt present. Their voice was still in the head. Their face still appeared in dreams with full emotional reality. Ancestors who seemed to still be present got talked to. Got asked for guidance. Got credited with outcomes. Ancestor spirits were not a leap of imagination. They were the brain's default response to death. And it gets even darker. The brain doesn't just invent gods. It experiences them. Across every known culture, a small percentage of people have vivid direct experiences of divine presence. Voices. Visions. An overwhelming sense of contact with something vast. These experiences are now understood as features of specific neurological states. Temporal lobe activation, REM intrusion into waking consciousness, extreme fasting or stress-induced altered states. Ancient shamans deliberately induced these states through fasting, drumming, sleep deprivation, and certain plants. They weren't faking contact with the divine. They were accessing neurological states that produced genuinely overwhelming experiences. The gods felt completely real because the neurological experience of them was completely real. Why the gods were personal? Here's something almost nobody notices. The gods that survive, the ones that spread across continents, the ones adopted by millions of strangers who never met each other, are almost never pure forces of nature. They have personalities. They get angry. They show favoritism. They make deals. They punish the disloyal and reward the faithful. They remember what you did. They care whether you believe in them. They behave exactly like a very powerful person would behave. Because the brain doesn't have a category for a non-personal supernatural force. It only has the category of agent, personal, intentional, capable of relationship. A cosmic energy field doesn't catch in the brain the way the jealous, loving, punishing, rewarding personal God does. The physics professor's impersonal universe doesn't generate prayers and sacrifices and temples. The personal God who might be angry with you right now does. Personal gods spread because the brain was built to model persons, not forces. But the biggest twist is this. The belief systems that produced the most elaborate and durable gods were the ones that solved the most real problems. A god who commanded sanitation rules during a time of plague outbreaks saved lives and spread because the people who followed the rules survived. A god who forbade certain foods in a region where those foods frequently caused illness was medically correct even if the mechanism was wrong. A god who mandated regular rest periods for slaves and animals increased economic productivity and reduced exhaustion mortality. The ancient religions that lasted weren't the most accurate descriptions of reality. They were the most effective management systems for human behavior at scale. Wrapped in the cognitive packaging the brain was already primed to receive. Conclusion. So why did ancient humans believe in gods? Because the brain detects agents behind events. Because it detects patterns obsessively and needs causes for the unexplained ones. Because gods solved coordination problems no other technology could solve. Because the dead don't disappear from the brain immediately. Because certain neurological states produce experiences of divine contact that feel completely real. Because personal intentional gods catch in the mind in ways impersonal forces don't. And because the belief systems that spread were the ones that worked well enough to keep the people who held them alive. You would have believed too. The brain you're using to evaluate this argument is the same brain that made belief inevitable. The only thing that changed is which unexplained events you still have unexplained causes for.